When we think about place value, there are a variety of ways you can go. Namely, in our case, there are two ways we can go when we think about our starting place. So, our starting place, when we are thinking about the value of a digit inside of a number, really banks on where it falls according to the decimal point, right? So if we have this number over here, we've got a whole bunch of digits. I'm going to first just go and think about where to put my commas. It's going to help me sort of organize myself. So I'll go, this is the ones, tens, hundreds, comma, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, comma. So all of a sudden, I now have these little sort of sections, right? This is like one neighborhood, and this right here is another neighborhood, and this is another neighborhood. So this neighborhood here, right? We have our ones, tens, hundreds. These are all of like our ones or our hundreds section. These are our thousands section. These are our millions section, right? And it can go up to billions and trillions and so on. The same is true in the opposite direction, right, of a decimal. So if we took a number like this, right, and we can say, let's put the decimal right here. Okay. So all of a sudden, this has gone from looking like it could have been a really huge number, maybe in the millions, and now is pretty little, right? We've got 31, we've got three tens, one one. We can also use this chart here to help us. I like to sometimes just fill in my digits 3, 1, 6, 9, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look for how to say this number in what I like to call fancy talk, right? So if we're talking in decimal fancy talk, we're not just going to say 31.69210, right? Instead, we're going to use our place value to help us be more specific. So we can say 31. Every time you read the decimal point, the fancy talk way to say that is to use the word and. So 31 and 69210. Well, 0 in this case, since it's behind the decimal, doesn't really hold value. So we're going to say this is not really holding any value because it's saying there are 0 hundred thousands, right? So in this case, our last digit of value behind the decimal is this 1. So we're going to go ones, tens, hundreds, comma. So if this was a regular number before to the left side of the decimal point, we would call it 6,921. So we're going to read that the same way, but this is not the value of 6,921. This is the value of 6,921. And then we pause and say, where did we stop? 10,000. And you get real spitty when you say 10,000. Different from 10,000, right? Very different size. So you don't end up needing this comma here, but it can help you in thinking about how you would say that number, right? If we were to have it on the other side of the decimal. This is going to look really familiar. This has been a warm up that you have already done. And just to refresh, right? So if when we are talking about place value and we're wanting to know the value of the digit in thinking about whole numbers and thinking about its place value, we're going to say, right, that this is 9 and it's in which place value spot? The 1. So there are 9 ones. Here we have a digit 2. It's in the ones, tens, hundreds, comma, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s place value spot. So we have 200,000s. You end up, right, you can also end up writing this as 200,000. But this value is different. We want to make sure that we're recognizing it's in the 100,000s spot and that there are 2 of them. And the final clarification here is just remember that a 0 can hold value so long as there is a digit kind of in front of it if we're working on the left side of the decimal point in the whole numbers, or if we're working to the right side in the decimals. And just remember that this number here is read as ones, tens, hundreds, comma, thousands, 1,000,000, nothing, 6,210, and 0,001 10,000th, right? So these zeros here are important because there is a digit of value behind them. These zeros here are important